Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, sweet home Chicago.
Hi there, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman in the business today, Sonny Hersh, and your host, Avi Meyers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Meyers here. Welcome to the Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hersh and myself, where way over 30,000 shows have been watched on the web. Dial us up at www.ntnm.org. Community policing, very important to us. Sonny, of course, is the chairman of the District Advisory Committee of the 24th District. And caps24.org, you can get all the different meeting places, all the different beats, where all the beats meet, and when they meet, and where, and the date, time, the whole shot. Sonny's also undergoing special training for the FBI right now, and he's really striving and working hard at it to make their top 10 list one day. And we wish you luck on that score, Sonny. In any event, just want to let you know, next week's going to be Alderman Stone. And the week after, we've got election lawyer Jim Nally, and then we're going to go out to the Jewish Folk Arts Festival and see who we're going to get over there. There's always a great variety of entertainment, acts, not to mention organizations and politicians. And second half today is Mike Moses. But in any event, it's a pleasure to introduce you to the new commander of the 24th District. And the first time he was on the show, he cracked the top 10 of one of the most watched shows we've ever had, which I think is terrific, and the numbers are still climbing. Commander Steve Caluris. Commander, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me back.
First of all, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. Listen, with those kind of popularity numbers, I'm going to boost my own ratings every time I have you on. So tell me, how are you finding? You've been here, what, officially now a couple months or so?
A couple months, yep. And I couldn't have asked for a better place to be. The 24th District is a great area all around. Community, officers, the participants from our CAPS program, everything. I couldn't ask for a better environment all the way around. It's just great people and a great place.
That sounds great. And I know you've been making your way out to various public meetings and things.
I'm holding, to my word that I'm going to make myself available to every community group, everybody who's got an interest. Turning the tide on any type of problems, whether it's quality of life issues or whether it's serious crime, it takes the partnership between the community and the police and all other city agencies, and the only way that we can really be effective is I got to make myself out there to be, able to have good ears and listen to what everybody's concerns are and act on them.
And I like that very much, and that's one of the reasons I always urge you people, not just to come to your CAS meetings, but you should be in direct contact with your police officer. If you think, you're letting the world know by reporting crimes on message boards, nobody's going to read that. Nobody's going to find out. It's not quite the same thing. Like one guy actually said, where's the place on caps24.org to report murders and domestic violence? And, you call 911 for things like that, and you actually talk to a policeman face to face. They're not going to bite you. I don't think so, anyway.
No, not at all.
Most of them are pretty nice guys. You should go meet them. So the situation with crime? I was just reading in our neighborhood newspaper, which I always find very interesting. Not always good. Sometimes always interesting though. That somebody's talking about a rash of strong-arm robberies around Devon, or increases in crime. Is crime going up around here?
No, actually, I'm proud to say that crime is down pretty much in all index crimes across the board. The 24th District, in terms of index crimes being, robbery, theft, burglary, homicide, aggravated battery with firearm, we've shown the second best reduction across the city. So, that's something that we're very proud of. And that's due to hard work of the men and women of the 24th District. I give all the credit to the officers and to the supervisors we have here. They really do have a lot of pride with what they do, and they're out there doing a tremendous job.
And I've met so many of them over the years. There are so many really conscientious, caring people out there. Yeah. You'd be meeting good people just by going to meet them. And I'm pleased to say that our CAPS meetings, even though things have been fairly quiet, our last meeting was 33 minutes, which was wonderful, but we still had 35 people despite the fact that, crime is pretty low right now.
And we're always going to have, unfortunately, some individual incidents of crime. But, we're going to keep working to try to get that number as close to zero as possible. And one of the things that I brought across the board, and for those of you who have heard me talk at community groups already, at meetings, is that I really truly believe in being proactive. I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it, that when we find ourselves in an arrest situation, that means that we've failed. That means there's already been a victim. And that what we're always going to strive for is to prevent the incidents from ever occurring. And the police, although that we are out there and we're partnering, the community is the eyes and ears around the clock. And we can't really be effective without the information and the participation from the community to prioritize what we've got to look at, to tell us the issues that we have to address, and that's what's going to make us effective.
You want to give us an example of how a person could participate maybe in just about, I know it's a broad question, but in a given situation?
In any particular suspicious activity, a license plate, a good description of the suspect helps us tremendously. Just reporting things in through 311 if it's a non-emergency number, or talking, just like Avi talked about. I mean, flag down your officer, talk to them, come into the station, talk to the community policing officer, Stephen. You couldn't ask for better guys to be there. Hank and Steve have been in the district for a long time. They're always willing to listen and direct, even if it's not something that turns out to be police related. They'll get you connected up with the city agency that can really help you. But even right now, for the community policing meetings from the officers, we developed like a new form to deal with vacant buildings and trouble buildings, so that we're building internally within the department a better database of those locations so that we can address them, whether they're in areas that we're looking at crime or if it's just a quality of life issue, so we can make sure that the ordinances are being followed and that we're helping out the neighborhoods, the blocks.
Now, let me ask you, because, the real estate market's going sour. They're talking about people losing their mortgages. I know about a couple blocks from me, there was a house that just went up for auction from a bank. Are there increased numbers of abandoned buildings in this area?
I think that there's. I have a hard time really gauging where we're at from before. I think more than a handful is too many. I know that people go through different problems in their life, whether it's a foreclosure or whether it's a mortgage fraud, which unfortunately is also occurring way too often.
Yeah, the Tribune did a big series about that just in the last few months.
When I was with narcotic and gang investigations, we did quite a few cases where the gangs were getting themselves involved in mortgage fraud, and it has been a problem that the department is addressing, very, actively against putting together good cases to go against these gang members, but it's still a problem. And sometimes it's just developers that buy a piece of property and they decide to sit on it for an extended period of time, and it doesn't really do well for a neighborhood to see a piece of property with just a lot of boards, across it, whether it's just a quality of life issue or whether, somebody is actually trying to hang in there or, abuse the property. So again, that's a high focus on our radar right now of ramping up, identifying them, and then working with the Department of Buildings and Department of Law to make sure that we have them addressed and that the building owners are within code, within the ordinance, within the law of how they're conducting their business on their property.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Rich Heinisch real quick, I guess, who's the guy who's working on the buildings. And one thing I do want to say on the air, because you mentioned Steve and Hank before, Steve Conan, Officers Conan and Jacob. The first thing I said to you, it was off the air when I first met you, was, as long as you keep those guys, everything else will seem to work itself out. Because people don't realize what a key they are. And when we had our awards ceremony, you were at the last one. It was your first one. When we had one 2 or 3 years ago at Loyola, and those two guys got an award, they got a longer ovation than all the other applauses, ovations together of the last 5 years worth of meetings. I mean, people really like them, and people really appreciate a lot what they do.
I'd be remiss without mentioning Sergeant Bob Clark and Jordan Kidover, who are also part of that office, and they all do a great job. No,
they're great guys, and I don't mean to single people out, and those are great too. Although they both seem to be very gun shy when it comes to. Well, actually, you know what? As well as these people talk, they're also shy about coming on TV. It's not even funny.
It's a policeman thing.
So, now this has been a teaching district for a while. Is it still a teaching district? Yeah. Do you have the extra manpower?
Yes. We get the recruits in that are teamed up with field training officers, and they do their training period here in the district before being permanently assigned to different places in the city. We've been lucky enough that occasionally they're permanently assigned here. I think a lot of them, once they get here and they get to meet the community and they see the lay of the land at 24, they really don't want to leave there, and I don't blame them. It's a good place to be.
Now, let me ask you, one of the things I know, because is the walking patrol still in force?
Yes. And now we've, because of the summer months coming up, we've got, I'm going to say it's an additional 7 bicycle officers up.
Nice. I've seen some. As a matter of fact, we had a real quality of life problems that could have escalated into more serious crime problems in 2412 last year, where people, just newcomers to the neighborhood, were being extremely loud and unruly. And, this was just after school went out, and a combination of positive loitering under police supervision from the community members, as well as the walking squad, and that's with Sergeant
Michael and Alexa.
Yes, seeing them around, really quieted things down beautifully without incident. It was wonderful. And there's 7 different bicycle squads and all that right now.
7 bicycle officers, yeah, they primarily work the lakefront, but we have them on missions that they go into different parts of the neighborhoods.
So, for instance, at Warren Park, you might see them.
Yes.
Very good. Are there other things you're looking to innovate here, or change, or fine tune a bit, or?
Right now I'm just trying to take a look and maybe tweak some of the particular existing initiatives, get everything running on a better note. One of the things I've been really impressed with coming to 24 is dealing with the community, the technological aspect of communication. There's a lot of great websites put up by each of the beat facilitators. Sonny does a great job quarterbacking everything for CAPS. And I noticed a progression, a difference than when I was here in 24 as a sergeant was when CAPS was first starting. And, CAPS is still the way. Attending beat meetings is still the way to go, but I also see a lot more development of individual block clubs and little smaller groups. And that's a great thing, but we need to network them all. And we need to network them into the CAPS meetings. We understand that everybody can't attend, but if they can send representatives from each individual block clubs. And I'm going to make myself available to those groups to talk to them, but we have to network and we have to make use of resources. Unfortunately, we can't send officers to every single block club meeting, but if we have representatives and they're attending the CAPS meetings, everybody's voice is going to get heard, your concerns are going to be heard, and that way we can address them. But I'm going to work to try to fine-tune all that networking to the best I can. It's a great thing in this district that a lot of people it shows that they're really involved. If they're willing to exchange information, they're willing to monitor what's going on, that's to me the major thing. It's the people are already active, they want to participate. I just want to get everybody on a equal forum and get everybody to be able to communicate back and forth.
Yeah, there actually are several block clubs around here that aren't plugged in. Part of it is because there is one person whose name I don't want to say on the air, but people do know who I'm talking about, or I'll tell them privately, who's not doing their job. There are people like McGillman, for instance, who's working overtime helping out with the block clubs from the CAPS office, who is somebody I do have some respect for. And also there are people who will occasionally approach me. All of a sudden, people will show up sometimes at a meeting, and all of a sudden there's a block club I didn't know about, and there'll be 15 people there. But, at least they're there, and at least they've made the connection, and it helps to keep connected, absolutely.
We have a new TAC lieutenant in the district, Ozzy Valdez. He just came in a couple weeks ago. Mark Amati, who was the TAC lieutenant, moved on to a different job, but Ozzy Valdez brings a lot of investigative experience. He was in narcotics and gangs for a long period of time, had a DEA team that he was in charge of, and I believe he's going to bring a lot of mentoring and a lot of direction to the TAC teams for a lot of positive actions against narcotics and gangs in the district. And, the biggest thing is to be able to hear from everybody. Like you were talking about, there's some people that just don't network or don't, get involved with the larger groups. And, we really need to be able to have everybody working together. In some of the instances where I've talked to these community meetings, people unfortunately have had bad experiences in the past, and some people are not letting them go. And my biggest thing is I'm coming here new. I've only been here a couple months, and I'm looking to get everybody re-energized, and let's work afresh with everything and move positive for the community and for the department.
It's a clean slate, so it's definitely time to get engaged and get involved. One of the things, too, I do want to ask you, and we're starting to run out of time, so it's got to be a little short. Well, let's talk about West Rogers Park. The community organizations that talk about the 50th Ward and all that, they're political groups. I mean, 50th Ward's got part of Peterson Park. It doesn't have part of West Rogers Park. West Rogers Park is what I'm talking about. How's our gang problem, or do we have a gang problem in this area?
You know, there's some gang activity in here, and the good part is I don't think it's rooted, so I think it could be easily addressed. Narcotics is a problem that's spread across the city. It doesn't matter what ethnic group you're talking about, what race, what gender, what age. Narcotics has been a problem that's impacted everybody, and the gangs feed off of it. It's unfortunately a large part of their revenue and what puts them together. You know, there was a day that it was all about what colors, what gang you were affiliated with. Now it's all about the color of money. Everything's green, and that's what is really controlling the gangs and the street. And as we attack the narcotic problem, we should root out any of the gang problem that's associated with it.
Sounds good. At this point, I want to thank you very much, Commander Steve Caluris. 2 months into the job at the 24th District.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, please. Thanks to Sonny Hersh. Stay tuned. Next guest is Michael Moses. And next week, we've got Alderman Bernie Stone. The week after, Jim Nally, then the Jewish Folk Arts Festival.